Relatively recently, I reread Cruel to Be Kind. I've read all of Cathy Glass's books. I decided to read them all chronologically. I've now finished doing that, unfortunately. Really thoroughly enjoyed the experience of rereading them, and Cruel to Be Kind is one of my favourites. And then I reviewed it, and it turns out that half of the review was missing from YouTube, so I'm now re-reviewing it. So I apologise if my thoughts are perhaps not as in-depth or as detailed as what they would have been in that original review. Unfortunately, I don't have the audio saved anywhere for it. But thankfully, because I love this one so much, and because I have read it twice, a lot of it is still very fresh in my mind, and it's one that I really thoroughly enjoyed for the right reasons. Certain characters really irritated me for the wrong reasons, but it led to some interesting emotional roller coaster. Cruel to Be Kind was originally released in 2017. It is, of course, a foster care memoir by Cathy Glass, and Cathy is looking after a young boy called Max. And the first thing she notices about this 6-year-old child when he first arrives is that he's larger than he should be. And when Cathy takes him to visit his mother in hospital, she realizes that this runs in the family. Her mother is actually, Max's mother, sorry, is actually in hospital because of complications with type 2 diabetes, and the mother and Max's sisters all sit around the bed in the hospital eating sweets, and Max obviously joins in and eats those sweets as well, and Cathy finds it kind of difficult to strike a balance by encouraging him to eat healthily at home, but then when he's with his family, he's eating all of the sweets, and then whenever he goes home for a visit, he's eating biscuits in his room on his own. And Max is actually a really likable character. He wants to change, he wants to be healthier. There are some heartbreaking moments when he reveals he doesn't want to do PE or anything because of other children making fun of him, and no 6-year-old should have to go through that. And he's also an avid reader, which I love. There's just everything about the character of Max I thought was wonderful. His mother annoyed me to no end. But we do get some interesting character development in maybe the final half of the book, and it took a direction I was not expecting. And I will not go into any more detail about it because I don't want to ruin it, but I will say just expect the unexpected and be prepared for your opinions about people to maybe change. Whether that's for the better or for the worse, I'm not going to say. But it definitely was very eye-opening and actually very well written, very moving, and very testing of how you respond to certain characters. The title, of course, Cruel to Be Kind, comes from the fact that Max, obviously having this sugar addiction, wants all of the junk food, and he may seem like it's quite cruel that Cathy's not giving him all of this junk food, but it's, out of kindness and the right thing to do. It is one of the most powerful and eye-opening of all of Cathy Glass's books, and one of the reasons for that is because, yeah, she's got loads of books about foster children who have been abused, physically, sexually, but then we have one here where actually this is a different kind of abuse, because it may seem bizarre to say, well, giving your child unlimited sweets, how can that possibly be abuse? That's what they want. It's a treat. They're getting it all the time. That's brilliant. But of course it's not brilliant. It's actually a form of neglect and abuse, and poor Max really is suffering because of it. And it is heartbreaking. But it's wonderful that Cathy is there to help him, and it's even more wonderful that Max actually wants to do the change, and he wants to see weight loss and healthy eating and be better, and he doesn't want to end up in hospital like his mother. And I think that's a pretty wonderful thing. So for me, it's a wonderful book that I really thoroughly enjoyed both times I read it. I will actually probably read it again at some point because it's a real emotional roller coaster, and from start to finish I found it to be really compelling and really fascinating, and also I think really important. It's definitely a look at how to treat a child in this situation, because you have to do it sensitively. You can't just go, right, you're chunky, no sweets. That's cruel. That's not the kind of cruelty that's being shown in the title. Absolutely not. It's a necessity, and it's definitely worth a read. Absolutely, without question, one of my favourite Cathy Glass books. Quite frankly, I'm glad to have had an opportunity to talk about it again. Hopefully, the audio for this one will be fully uploaded this time, and it's definitely one that I recommend you read. If you're a fan of Cathy Glass or any other foster care memoirs and you haven't yet read it,